Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode one of Win with Vince. I am your host, Vince, as you can imagine, based on my saying that, and I'm kind of a big deal. So, no, I'm very happy to be here, very excited. As you can see, for those watching on video, this is my YouTube plug. I have multiple successful businesses on YouTube. No, I'm not one of those people. I'm not like, I have so much success. You should be exactly like me. Crypto, morning routine trading, shit like that. I don't know. I'm all for morning routines and crypto, by the way, but I'm not going to tell you what to do. I think you should figure that out yourself because I haven't even figured out how to be successful with that. Okay, I had a couple big videos actually on YouTube that went viral. So I've had a lot of success, but I haven't had success over the long run, and I'm looking to expand into that now. Obviously, also my one or two viral hits. I'm sure these will go viral once you figure out I don't do them while wearing pants. Let me just show. No, I'm just kidding. I do actually wear pants, but I'm not going to stand up now simply because I'm wired. I'm wired up here like I'm having an EKG done or something. This is crazy. Today we're going to talk about the Donald Trump inauguration. It's kind of a big thing, no? I feel like he's a second president in history, well, since the United States has been a country, that has come into power twice. The first one was who was the first guy who came into power another time? I forgot. Some dude in the 1890s, I think it was, came into power twice. Which is interesting that Trump is the second one. Now I'm not. This isn't a politically biased podcast at all. I am a common sense person, which means I think that if you treat politics like a sport, you are stupid, and you should be locked up in a mental asylum because you're treating human lives like sport. So and the welfare of an entire country. I think that's the most ridiculous thing. The US has the Democrats and the Republicans. You have lots of other parties, just you choose not to elect any of them simply because you're too proudly standing behind your sporting team. It's like you guys bet. I wouldn't be surprised if people bet. I'm sure there has to be, right? Somebody bets money on who's going to win the presidential. You can actually bet on it. Probably not a very high return since it's fairly logical, I'd say. In this case, it was logical that Trump is going to become the next president because Biden did such a terrible job. I mean, Trump is right. Look, if you're asking me, I think Trump made a lot of good points. And he said, yeah, Biden did a shit job. The Ukraine war started during the Biden administration. The Gaza conflict broke out escalated during the Biden administration. A lot of bad stuff happened. But I'm not here to talk about the good and bad of Trump and Biden. I'm just here to talk about the inauguration. I wrote down a couple things here because I thought they were interesting. Did you know that in 1841, William Henry Harrison spoke for 2 hours after he did his inaugurational speech for 2 hours in freezing rain, and later, 31 days later, died of pneumonia? What's the shortest running for presidency ever in US history? That has to be him, no? 31 days? Shame. I feel bad for him because honestly, like you put in all this effort and time and money into becoming the president of a country, and then you just die because nature's like, nope, not you, bye. You know? I mean, it's kind of dumb to talk in the freezing rain for 2 hours straight without a coat. Apparently he didn't have a coat. He was just kind of winging it. After that he must have been a chill president. Sorry. Please don't leave. No, I think that's kind of crazy that you talk for 2 hours, go through all of that trouble, and then 31 days later you die of pneumonia. I mean, Trump didn't want to do it outside, and maybe they say it because it was so cold, But I can imagine there was also security concerns. Because, I mean, sorry to say, but the Americans are insane. They tried to assassinate him. Excuse me. They tried to assassinate Donald Trump, which is in 2024 just insane. I mean, the last world leader or leader of a country to be assassinated, if I'm not mistaken, was Shinzo Abe of Japan in 2022, something like that, 23, which isn't that long ago. But I mean, there was an attempt on Trump, not too long ago. And I don't think that you should kill him by that sense, because he doesn't conform to what you believe in, I mean, okay, the guy that they thought assassinated or tried was a psycho. The guy was a lunatic. That's America's problem too, though, is mental health. And I think that's a big reason why it's so polarized between Trump, between Democratic and Republicans, is because there's so many mental health problems that stem from generational trauma. Something we'll come into a little bit later. But so many mental health issues that stem from generational trauma that just, weren't resolved yet, and gives them this grandiose feeling that what they believe is superior to what everyone else believes, and therefore whoever opposes them or has opposing views should die. It's insane. In the Japanese case, it was a radical case, obviously. Same thing. But yeah, I think in this case it was just because people are crazy. And then people also go and say things like, it's too bad he didn't die, which to me is just insane, that you wish death upon another person. I don't know. I don't know if Trump's done it either, or Biden. Like I said, I have a political view, but I'm trying to remain very centrist. Did you also know there is no legal requirement to swear on the Bible when you enter office? According to ChatGPT, at least. That's crazy. Why do they all do it? There has to be some kind, right? Because, I mean, there was like a priest or a shaman. What was he? He was some guy swearing Trumpin. Hello, my name is Pippin Trumpin. Trumpin sounds like an old English surname. My name is Pippin Trumpin, and I don't know why I'm talking in an Irish accent as well, right? My name is Pippin. Actually, it could be an Irish surname, Trumpin. They swore Trumpin. Swear to God, such a great guy, that Trumpin. Fell from a ladder once on his head. Not even a concussion. Not even mild. Didn't even have a bump. Just got right back up and started drinking again. Fucking idiot. That's a great thing, by the way, about podcasts. You can swear. People were trying to convince me. People said to me, Vince, you should really do a podcast. By the way, my name is Vincent. You can call me Vince. If you see me on the street and you come up to me and you're like, hello, Vince, I would probably greet you back, because that's what I go by. If you say to me, hello, Vincent, I'd probably think you were sent by the tax agency to collect back taxes. And that wouldn't be very fun. Probably start running, probably scream, yell, make you think that I'm a lunatic, which I most likely am. No, I think it's so crazy that you could swear on a podcast. I could say what I want. I was going to insult China now. I'm not going to do that, actually, so not what I want exactly. I'm not doing that. I'm just clarifying because I am scared for my life. And I am afraid that next time I enter China, they will detain me and most likely interrogate me and pull out my toenails. So, la Vichy, I think your regime is great. I love China. Long live China. My God. What the fuck was that? I apologize to everyone who had to hear that. you know, there was, like I said, so okay, back to the Trump presidency, the topic we were talking about now. There's only one other president serving two non-consecutive terms. I'm not sure who that was now, but I found it kind of cool when he entered. And they were like, he's the 45th and 47th president of the United States. It's crazy. Most people are like, oh, you're 45 and 46. Oh, Obama was what, 43, 44, something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I just think that's a little bit insane. There were a lot of characters there. There were a few non-political people there, such as Hulk Hogan, which I found kind of strange, although he could have just been at the inaugurational speech. But inside the Capitol building, Dana White was there. Now, if you don't know who Dana White is, he owns the UFC. Well, Dana White is the man who made the UFC famous, actually. Dana White said, I think he owns it, but he basically made, all of these fighters, he put them on the map. The fighters put the UFC on the map. He started paying them a lot of money. It started generating a lot. It started getting close to boxing and actually overtaking boxing then as a bigger event. Boxing still brings in so much revenue, but so now do UFC fights. And I'm actually South African, so I'm a pretty boy. I'm a pretty boy, in case you haven't noticed yet. For those only watching through the audio channel and have the misfortune of actually missing out on what I look like. Just imagine 6'6", tall, dark, handsome guy, and then subtract a couple feet, and not handsome, but no, I'm just kidding. I'm pretty handsome. Everyone tells me so, and by everyone I mean my mom. So, love you, mom. Let's turn this into a Trump ASMR. We're gonna build the biggest wall. It's gonna be huge. No one's ever done it before. Why does he talk like that also? I'm sorry, someone decided to start drilling now. I don't understand why Trump talks like that. Why not just talk normally? I suppose he feels like, and I mean, he shouldn't take advice from me. Actually, you know what? Forget everything I just said, Dr. Trump, our Lord and Savior. Please forgive me. I don't know what I'm talking about. You shouldn't take advice from me. I'm not the president of the United States by far, or have $1 billion. So once I get to that level, I'll gladly sign on as your advisor if you'd like that. But for now, please forget what I just said. So I find it interesting how he talks. And it's funny, it kind of reminds me of a president South Africa had, Jacob Zuma. Now, if you know Trevor Noah, you've probably heard of Jacob Zuma. Jacob Zuma used to talk like this all the time. And if he was, I can only imagine if he was president of the United States, it would have been, we will build a wall across the border of Mexico. He was also the one who couldn't pronounce I think he was reporting on figures of the ANC, the African National Congress, his party. And he said something like 769,000, 2,060,000, something like this. It was saying something like that. Unfortunately, it did not comprehend the numbers so good. But Trump's speeches kind of remind me of that. He talks in... I think to avoid doing that, what Jacob Zuma does, he repeats himself. So he'll say like, and we're going to win. We're going to win so much. It's going to be great. We're going to win like we've never won before. And then while he's saying that, he thinks of what to say next. Win like we've never won before. Black people are... No, just like that blurts out the next like controversial thing. That's the thing. I think he'd have much more support from people on the left if he wasn't so controversial. If he didn't say such controversial things, that is the issue. Because I mean, politicians say controversial things. And the thing is, people from the Democratic Party also say controversial things, but because the Democrats, well, the news, the media you read these days is all just kind of biased towards the left, which is kind of annoying. Every time you see a good article, again, for someone not from the US, it's very difficult to read any new US news because I get my briefings from Google News, and it's usually like, I don't know, Trump did this and Trump said that. And then when you actually go into a video of what he said, it's completely taken out of context, which is annoying. It's not just the US that does this, it's other countries as well. But because the US is such a major player, lots of people listen to your news and consume your news. So, yeah, Elon was there as well. He looked like a robot. I just want to show you guys a video of what Elon looked like. Actually, if you want to see a video of that, go check out my it's on TikTok and it's on Instagram, Win with Vince. That was interesting though. They were panning across and everyone was just mingling and talking, and it was like chatter, like, and then it's like pops to Elon Musk and he's just like like a robot, like looking around, scan. I don't even know what his eyes were doing. Like he was like looking like from side to side, like crazy, like it was on speed or something. I don't think he's actually on drugs. The man has Asperger's, and I'm not a mental health expert, but I think you do a lot of different things. Asperger's is on the autism spectrum, isn't it? So he's autistic, and he's a brilliant guy. Really smart guy, but he's autistic, and that's too bad. Well, what am I saying? It's not too bad. He struggled with social interactions, but I mean, the autistic factor is what got him to where he is now. Look what he's done. He doesn't care about people's feelings. He cares about nothing except work, and that's just, I think, a side effect of his condition. Anyway, he was there. I love also when he came on stage for his speech. And if you're South African, you heard it probably. He started out like, he came on stage like, yeah, this is what victory feels like the most heaviest South African accent. And then this is what victory feels like. And then he started speaking. He's like, this is what victory. So as you can imagine, like, this is what victory feels like. And I was like, man, that must be so hard having to, I think because he didn't have a very good childhood in South Africa. So I think he's trying to kind of repress the accent also, because first of all, if you've ever been outside of South Africa, you know that when we say stuff like going to party, or I don't know, I climbed up the stairs and then I fell down because I was fucking drunk. You know what I mean? If you talk fast, something like that. Which those two phrases, by the way, are spoken very often in South Africa. I was climbing up the stairs and I fell down because I was drunk. I went to the cafe and I ordered myself a banana muffin. People will be like, I've had this myself. I once went to a drive-thru in the US and I ordered myself a banana muffin, and the lady was like, a banana? And she's like, and I was just like looking at her like, is she joking? And she's like, oh, a banana muffin? I was like, that's not that different from what I said, madam. So, so yeah, I think he has to adjust the way he speaks, which is too bad, and I feel sorry for him because that's difficult. You have to constantly think about what you're saying and how you're saying it as well. I'm about to sneeze, excuse me. Sorry. Jesus Christ. Superstar. Excuse me. No, I feel for Elon, honestly. It must be difficult. But he came on with a very heavy South African accent and then switched to his American accent. He also mentioned, oh yeah, anyway, back to Trump now. Trump mentioned very successfully and in a very good way. He's like, we're going to work with Hispanic. We've never had so many votes from the Hispanic and the black community ever. It's never happened. Never in the entire. He said that, and then and he said, we're going to work together with them, and we're going to make, them and their communities great again, and we're going to do all of these great things for them. And everyone broke into applause, and they, stood up. And I was like, wait, okay, so everyone is standing and applauding for him because he said this is great. And I'm looking and I can't see a single dark-skinned person in that entire crowd. Not a single one. In the beginning, I saw one military officer, looked quite highly decorated, an African-American gentleman, if you will. I believe I can say that because if I say black, I don't know if I say black. He's black. But it's the States, so you say African-American. You can't say African-American anywhere else. This is also something funny when Americans, when they leave the US and they come to Europe, for example, or go to South Africa, and they refer to black people as African-American. It's like, what? What? You think all black people came from America? Is that what you're saying? It's not how it worked, Tracy from Utah. Okay. Black people are not from North America. Alright. They came from the African continent. Okay. Or maybe somewhere else. But they're not from there. Alright. So, no, they aren't African American. They are, in fact, black people. Just like we are Caucasian. I say we. Who's we? Who's here? Who's there? Who said that? Me. I am fucking Jesus. I am Caucasian or white, because my ancestors came from Europe, which is in the northern hemisphere, and it's cold. And actually, I did a DNA test once, and I was not expecting it at all. My results. I thought, my family's very proudly Afrikaans, which is. Well, my South African family is very proudly Afrikaans, and my aunt was like, "No, we are not at all. You are not British," because the Dutch and the Afrikaans people actually hate the British, and she was saying, "We are not a fuck. We've got any British in us." And I did the test, and I'm like majority English, actually majority Scandinavian. It was like 33.33% Scandinavian, then 33.1% British, like English. Northern Ireland, so that was surprising to me. I did not expect that. And then something like 1% Southern Italian, or like 15%, Southern Italian, which is why I think I look so beautiful. I don't mean to brag, but no. Where was I? How did I get this sidetracked? Besides having crippling ADHD. Ah, yes. So he mentioned he's going to work with the Hispanic and the black communities, which I thought was great. But not a single black person in that crowd, which I thought was sad. Or a Hispanic person, from what I could tell. Not that you can usually tell. I have a colored friend in South Africa. I can say colored because colored is an actual race. I've said colored before in the US. And people looked at me as if I had just said I love Adolf Hitler. You know what I mean? Like, what? No, he's colored. He's an actual person of the colored race. Not black. He's not white, Where was the story going? Oh yeah, I have a colored friend. And colored people they look like white people. But their skin is a little bit darker. But this colored friend, he says he's colored, and his mom and dad are, but he's whiter than I am. And I was like, what? I don't know. I can't judge. I'm not a race expert, despite what people may think. No, I don't know why you'd think that. So yeah. I think so what I said was there's the black and Hispanic people in the crowd. I think that's great that he mentioned them because they've been through a lot. They have much newer generational trauma than white people in the US. Something that needs to be addressed urgently. Which is why when white people commit, I feel like I'm not going to go into the details of crime because I'm also no expert on that. I have opinions, but I think that people commit crimes. One of the factors is obviously out of necessity, but also the other factors is out of mental health issues, more violent crimes, and that stems from generational trauma. I think the black and Hispanic communities in the US have a lot of that needs to be addressed. And so hopefully Trump's administration is going to address that. Address that good. But more on that in another episode. Please like and subscribe. I'm just kidding. But if you want to, you can pledge to my Patreon, which would be great. That would be that would make my year. I'm wondering if I can tell this dirty joke. No, I won't. You nearly got me there, freedom of speech. I nearly thought I could say what I want. But I know you know. You cheeky little buggers at YouTube. Trump did mention that today, in his honor of Martin Luther, yesterday, well, the day when he was inaugurated was Martin Luther King Day. And he did say, everyone, in his honor of MLK, he was, he said he should honor Martin Luther King on that day. And everyone clapped, but not a single black person. Again, this is tied up with that. So, I just thought that was funny. It's, I don't know, they're showing we love black people. Like, oh my God, like that's kind of the feeling I get. What do you mean? I'm not racist. Like, my gardener is black. Like, what are you even talking about? Like, that kind of stuff. Although I know Americans have Hispanic gardeners usually, don't they? I'm interested to see what he does. He declared wars on the cartels, which is interesting, seeing as the cartels operate in a different country. Or their operations start in a different country. So we'll see what he does there or how he decides to tackle that. Obviously, there are gangs in the US, which I think he should also tackle first. The Bloods, the Crips, the KKK. Those are violent gangs, man. I mean, I've never been to LA, but I know about the Bloods and the Crips and shit. West Side and whatnot. Isn't that a thing? East Side? I have no clue. But I think you should probably tackle that and tackle probably the drug cartels within the country. And then as a next step, probably legalize drugs so you don't have that stuff anymore, right? So get pharmacies to sell it and stuff like that. Regulate it. What do I know? That's another thing. Like, why do people say such bad things? I think one shouldn't be biased. You should just have an open mind. And if Trump was on the left, I would probably say the same things about what he's saying now. I would be supportive of him as well. I think actually what he is saying is he's taking what the left wants to do. Obviously, everyone is inherently good. You have to go from that perspective, right? So people are inherently good. And the left doesn't want crime in the US. The right doesn't want crime in the US. So you have to say, like, okay, which approach are we going to take to curb crime in the US? And the left would say, okay, I think we need to, ban guns. The right would go, oh my God, you can't just ban guns. Oh, one moment. The maximum recording time has been reached. I'm just going to restart this. Here, this is my other... There we go. Hey guys, you're back. Sorry about that. I can only record half an hour on my camera. So I think, the left would say we have to ban guns. The right would say, no, we can't ban guns. We have to stop illegal immigration. And I think you have to think logically, which is easier, stopping illegal immigration on your borders through a large force of manpower, right? Or taking away guns. What do you think? It's way easier to stop illegal immigration, right? Because Trump is right. There are a lot of violent illegals. And you can't say, simply saying yes, but isn't fixing the problem. Yes, guns also need to be regulated more because the people who do mass shootings in the US are usually crazy white Americans from suburban have a weird ass childhood and stuff. Again, the mental health issues, that needs to be curbed as well. But you can't put your finger on it and say this is the problem or that's the problem. It's both. And that's why there needs to be a more common sense approach to these kind of things. But I'm thinking what Trump is going to do is, he needed the vote to get into power to say, look, we need to stop illegal immigration. And all the right people go, yeah, we love Trump. And the left is thinking, oh my God, screw this guy. And then down the line, he'll say, like, look, actually, we need to regulate guns more. And the right is going to say, because he's a right-wing person, they're going to say, oh yeah, okay, that has come from our people. We need to endorse this. The left will say, oh, what? Okay, cool. That sounds great. Yeah, actually fine. Instead of taking this approach of like, if Biden was still in power and said we need to, curb gun violence by taking away guns, the right would go insane. So yeah, I think there's just a big problem with in the States. I think also with the emotional intelligence, which is why there's such a polarized view on politics, and I think that needs to be addressed urgently, because I think that is how you can actually create a balanced country. Because the US is quite a new country, and generationally, a lot of bad blood has been passed down. You've had slavery that has been abolished in the last 100 years. Do you know what I mean? Like, people are still suffering from this. Obviously, you're not born and then you're think oh my God, I used to be a slave. But you have these signs your parents give you that just kind of some people growing up in the South, I've heard, their parents or their grandparents treat white people differently and stuff like that. And if you grow up with that and you see your grandparent being that way towards a person, you kind of take that on, because children do what they see, right? So this is why you have these things, and you don't know what it is. You don't know that this is generational trauma from the slave times. You just think to yourself, okay, this is how it is. And then down the line, someone says, well, why did you act that way? And then you're thinking to yourself, like, I'm not sure why I see people this way or why I do this. And then when you realize that this has a name, generational trauma, it's something you can work on. But a lot of people are in denial about that. A lot of white people are in denial about the problem that black people are facing, African Americans, in the United States. But also, one needs to understand that white people still have, in the US, this Wild West kind of frontier thinking that they need to protect themselves from this big bad government. People are going to take their guns and then try and control them and all this stuff. It's just crazy, man. And this is a topic for the next episode where we talk about generational trauma and emotional intelligence. So thank you for joining me on today's episode. It's been interesting. It's been quite a roller coaster of emotion this last half hour. Wouldn't you agree? If you think this has been like a therapy session to you, then please let me know, because it certainly has for me. Like I said, my name is Vincent. This is Winning with Vincent, if I'm not mistaken. My username is still so new. I don't even know. It's something with Win with Vincent, I think. I'll get there. In episode 2, I'll have this whole thing smoothed out, So, if you're watching this on YouTube, please like and subscribe. If you're watching on Spotify, if you're listening on Spotify, please follow. It really helps out. And please head to my Patreon. Give me some money. Give me your money.